Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to be having a little bit of a look at a whole bunch of new family Pokemon cards. We looked at the GXs the other day. That was where Pinsir and Wigglytuff made their GX debut. Neither of them were particularly good, unfortunately, but that's kind of not the point. They got GXs. And there's been a whole bunch of other cards, so we need to have a quick look at them. Now, heads up, like I said before, these decks are designed for families to play together, to teach people the game, etc. They are not designed to be that competitive, so we're going to quickly run through all the evolved Pokemon, but I'm also going to point out some pre-evolutions here, which are actually really, really good, and that we need to know about. So we have a 60 HP Caterpie and a 90 HP Metapod, which is as beefy as those Pokemon have ever gotten. That's the biggest Caterpie and the biggest Metapod we've ever had, at least going back as far as the database on Pokemon.com goes. I know there are some older sets, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have bigger cards. So that's really cool. The Butterfree that does 80 damage for a grass and a colorless, that's a little bit weak. The Scyther, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not particularly good. Grass colorless 30 damage is not inspiring, but 100 HP is the biggest Scyther we've had. So if you want to be playing Sizzle here, there is an argument that actually, yeah, this is nice to evolve into it. Of course, we do have the Scyther from Celestial Storm, and look, I am fully aware that it's got 30 less HP, which is significant, but also for one colorless energy, search for 2 Scyther and put them onto your bench, and then they're ready to evolve at the beginning of your next turn. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really good amount of HP, but we have a really good attack on another one. We've got a Delmise. 1 colorless energy, search for a basic Pokemon, put it on your bench. It's alright in a pinch. Certainly in these kind of decks, it's awesome. And I love Delmise, and I adore the artwork with Pyukumuku and Wishiwashi. This is one of my favourite artworks of cards I've seen probably ever. It's phenomenal, and I love it. Grass colorless energy, 40 damage, don't love it. As a starting Pokemon in a deck, yeah, I'm down with it. Otherwise, not loving it. Now, weirdly enough, we are getting a 100 HP Charmeleon, and that is the biggest, baddest, bulkiest Charmeleon we've had. Now, we do have the Charmeleon from Dragon Majesty, which does have a really, really good ability, whereby when you evolve up into it, you can discard the top 5 cards of your deck, and if any of them are basic fire energy, you can attach them to this Pokemon. You're going to need Charmeleon because Charizard from Team Up is a genuinely good card that is going to see some play, and this is the biggest, beefiest Charmeleon we've had, and if you're just going for beef, yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes. In terms of overall playability, 2 energy 30, 3 energy 80, it could be better. And I know we looked at it before, but I've got to give a shout out to Charizard here. Even though the GXs aren't particularly playable and aren't supposed to be, the GX attack doing a flat 300 damage in a format where we've got Kiawe, and we're soon going to have Welder, attach 2 fire energy to one of your Pokemon and draw 3 cards. Actually, this is a cool GX attack that I kind of like. Now, there's a new Magmar here, and Magmar isn't particularly good. The attack is incredibly uninspiring. 2 fire energy, 50 damage, no, we can do a lot better. What is interesting here is that this is the biggest Magmar we've ever had, except the old Magmar EX, literally little x, not like the new ones, which had 90 HP but gave up 2 prizes. So that alone is actually kind of interesting. We are getting a Salazzle. Now, we've had some good Salazzle. I don't like the Pokemon. I've made my thoughts on that very clear. This is not one of them. We've had some good ones. This is not one of them. 2 energy, 70 damage, no. The one from Guardians Rising that gives automatic burn and automatic poison when you evolve into it? Yeah. I like that. The GX, which has got some nice, fairly low energy attacks. That's seen some play. People like that. This one, not so much. We are getting a Magikarp, which isn't particularly good, but I've got to show you because I love the artwork. Incidentally, we have the Magikarp with Submerge, which is just infinitely better. And I previously showed you the Gyarados GX. It's not a particularly great card, but again, it does a huge amount of damage as a GX attack, and we've got a format where we've got Aqua Patch and Naganadel to get energy on the field, and then Quagsire to move it to your active. That could be a little bit fun here. We're getting a Lapras that does 80 damage for 2 water, 1 colourless energy. Now, to show you how bad that is, the new Kyurem that we're getting in Unbroken Bonds for the same attack cost does 110 damage and automatic paralysis. Now, admittedly, you do have to discard 2 water energy to use it, but if I'm putting 2 water and a colourless, or if just 3 water, onto a basic water Pokemon to attack, ladies and gentlemen, you would best believe I'm going to be putting that energy on a Kyurem. We are getting a new Pyukumuku that I know will make one of my Twitter followers extremely happy, but it's not great. 1 colourless energy, draw a card. Like the Dalmise we looked at, it's fine in terms of, it's the first turn, I've got nothing to do, but it's not terribly great in a competitive game. And water colourless, 30 damage. No, we're not loving it. Turns out I seem to be reminding you about all the GXs as we go. Raichu GX, underwhelming. 200 for free energy is not good enough as a GX attack. It's fine, but I'm not particularly loving it. There is an Electrode coming, which for 1 lightning energy does 30. For a lightning double colourless, 60 damage, flip 2 coins, 30 more for each heads. And look, we got Thunder Mountain that will reduce the attack cost of that. And we got Electro Power now, which lets attacks of lightning Pokemon do an extra 30 damage. So actually, you can make this second attack work, especially if you can flip heads, use Victini to do so. But no, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it's particularly great. We're getting a new Togedemaru. Lightning, colourless, 30 damage plus paralysis on a coin flip. So like I said with Electrode, Thunder Mountain brings down the attack cost, Electro Power gives us a bit more damage, and Victini can be used to try and make sure you definitely get that paralysis. It's not great, but you know, as an emergency low energy attacker, it's not complete garbage. We're getting a new Jinx, 1 energy 10, 2 energy 30. Frankly, we can do better. Mewtwo GX we looked at before. It's not particularly great. 2 lightning and a colourless 110. 2 lightning and a colourless 120. Discard all energy from your opponent's active. So I like it as emergency, get rid of all the energy, but that really is about it. We're getting a new Mew. Now to be fair, 80 HP on a Mew is actually really high. We've only ever had 3 Mew that have had more than 80 HP, and they are the EX, the EX, and the EX. So frankly, ladies and gentlemen, once again, there's so many of these Pokemon are weirdly beefy in a way that we aren't really expecting. I mean, 2 Psychic Energy 50 damage isn't good, but that's a beefy Mew. We're getting Toxapex, 2 Psychic Energy, 70 damage, let's say somewhat uninspiring. A new Clefable, 2 energy 40, 3 energy 90, once again, uninspiring. Wigglytuff GX is coming out. We talked about this before. 2 fairy and a colourless, 100 damage, flip until you get a tails, 30 more for each heads. Or 130 heal all from this Pokemon. It's one of the more interesting GXs. It's the only one in this set which is not vanilla in all its attacks, but no, it's not particularly great. Mr. Mime's got a fun little attack that lets both players draw a card. Nice if you're in a generous mood. Or for 2 fairy energy, flip 2 coins, 40 damage for each heads. I mean, look, double heads choice band, you get a KO on a Rayquaza. You know, that's good, right? Yeah, I think we can do better. There is a Farfetch'd coming that does 30 damage for 2 energy. Go Farfetch'd. There's a Chansey coming. Now, what's weird about Chansey is it's another one of these Pokemon that has more HP here than it's ever had before. Weirdly, though, it had 120 HP back in the base set when it was first released, the very first set that ever came out, and now it's taken till 2019 for it to get more HP. I can't be the only one that thinks that's a bit weird. And talking about the base set Chansey, it's very similar. 3 energy, 80 damage, 22 itself. Now, probably the most competitively viable card in the set in terms of I'm building a deck around it, Kangaskhan, 2 colourless energy. Don't forget double colourless energy is a thing. Flip 4 coins. This attack does 40 times the number of heads. Now, let's be clear, this is only good if you can hit like 4 heads in a row. It's not actually good, but none of these cards are that great. And finally, we're getting a Snorlax, 150 HP. That's a big Snorlax, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very, very big Snorlax. That's more than the old EX. That's more than the Level X. The only Snorlax we've ever had, which has more HP than this big bad boy, is the GX. That's a bit crazy, right? I can't be the only one that thinks that's a little bit weird. Some of the Pokemon in this set, many of them, and I've pointed them all out as we've gone along, are just breaking records for how much HP they've had. That's a little bit weird. Yes, I know the EX was called Rocket Snorlax, but it still totally counts. And yes, I know that Snorlax and Eevee Tag Team GX, or Eevee and Snorlax, does have more HP, but come on, ladies and gentlemen, you and I both know that's a Tag Team GX, and it doesn't count. And also, as I've shouted out the other GXs as we go through, quick shout out to Pinsir, just because it's the only fully evolved Pokemon from this set I've not mentioned. It's not good. Free energy 160 on a GX attack is phenomenally underwhelming. But I shouted out the others, I thought I should shout out this. So as a set, it's not a particularly competitively viable set, but we've got some phenomenal artwork. Seriously, that Dalmai's card is a thing of absolute beauty. And several of the Pokemon here are breaking records for HP, which I find extremely weird in some little family set which is designed to help people play the game. It's strange, but hey ho. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the point where you tell me what you think about this set. Tell me what you think about these cards. Tell me which ones you think are viable. Tell me what you think of the artwork. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about other games. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.